Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live in the studio from the Cape Cod Commission, Director of Technical Services, Glenn Cannon. Glenn, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Sure.
So let's talk. Well, why don't we start by talking about the first meeting that's coming up. The Joint Transportation Committee is going to meet on June 10th to talk a little bit about the Transportation Improvement Plan. And I know right now we're kind of in that public comment period. So can you kind of tell us where we are in terms of getting some of these projects that are on the tip solidified and moving that forward? Sure.
This is a real critical time for these Transportation Improvement Program projects because this is the time of the year where the funding is really decided on as what's going on. If anybody had come to the last MPO meeting, we were actually short $2 million on our projects. And that was affecting a couple of very critical projects here for the region. One of them being lighting at Exit 5 off of Route 6 at the Route 149 roundabout. Working very well, but very difficult to see at night sometimes. And then also the Cape Cod Rail Trail Bridge over the Bass River was in jeopardy of funding.
Right.
And what happens, this has a real impact on the entire program because the funding doesn't follow the project. We get a certain amount of funding every single year, and those projects have to fit within that year. So we have been working with MassDOT to get additional money coming out of the statewide funds. That's why this time of the year is so critical, because MassDOT goes back and reevaluates all the projects statewide. And just like Cape Cod, sometimes these projects do fall off. They fall behind for years. So they have additional funds they can bring forward.
Right.
So we are hoping at this June 10th meeting that MassDOT comes with additional funding. We need about $1.2 million. And again, it is great if MassDOT hears from the public that these projects are important for the region.
Absolutely.
Certainly Commission staff is telling them that. The DPW directors are telling them that. But again, it's always great for them to hear it from the public. The people we're really here to serve.
Sure. So how do folks have an opportunity to comment on some of these projects? Can they go to the meeting, or is there kind of an online or send a letter kind of a way that people can do that?
Correct. Any way they want to reach out. I would always say in person is best. I think there's nothing like a face-to-face. If somebody is at the meeting and tells MassDOT directly, I think that has the most impact. And then again, so that first meeting is June 10th, 8:30 at the Commission office, a Joint Transportation Committee meeting. And then on June 27th at 1 o'clock, again at the Commission office, is a Metropolitan Planning Organization meeting. But it's the same MassDOT folks that are there. They can always write a letter. You could call into the Commission office. You can send an email. So any way that's best for you. We don't text yet, but we will get there at some point. But any other way that you can reach out to us is great. Again, I always think that face-to-face is the best of them to see the impact of the people there.
Absolutely. Seeing a large amount of people in a room is always pretty effective. And it's better than seeing a big list of emails in your inbox, right?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's go back to yesterday. I understand that Tom Timlin, MassDOT Highway Administrator, stopped by to talk a little bit about signage on Route 6.
Correct. This was a project that came up a while ago now, and had a lot of controversy because I would say this, the signs on Route 6 need to be replaced.
Yes.
You can't see the signs at night. We need to be able to see the signs at night. I know we a lot of still have GPS now, and we're all guided by our GPS, but many times when you're driving down the highway, you need the guide signs to be able to see it at night. So the signs need to be replaced. When MassDOT got a hold of replacing the signs, they were really looking to upgrade the signs, they call it, upgrade the signs. So they wanted to take them from the side of the road to put them overhead, over the lane, which isn't a bad idea. It's a little bit easier to see when it's over the lane versus looking over to the side of the road. And then they also wanted to change the numbers of the exits. Well, those two things didn't go over too well on Cape Cod. The reflectivity is okay. Again, we want the signs to be visible at night. Right. Putting them overhead, and it isn't even just the sign. It's a big structure that goes along with it. There has to be this big cantilever arm that goes over the highway. It really changes the feel of it. It would change the character of it. I think also in our comment letter, this maybe details, once you put the posts in the ground too, now you have to protect them with guardrail. Right. So you have additional guardrail along Route 6. We have enough guardrail on Route 6. If you ever drive up and down Route 6, there's plenty of guardrail on Route 6. That's the last thing we need.
Exactly.
Is, to make it more look like an urban highway. And then changing the numbering system of the signs, it was just not a good idea. Way too many small business owners on Cape Cod, way too many residents looking for their doctor's appointments where they have to go. to be changing exit numbers, particularly this time of the year.
Right. We know exit 6, exit 7, exit 11, but not exit 75 or 92.
Correct. I don't remember the exact numbering, but they actually wanted to start at the Massachusetts-Rhode Island line
Right.
at Route 6 and then number them by the mileage. Yeah, it was
So confusing.
It was mile 88, exit 88. I can't remember what the numbering was. But anyway, MassDOT Highway Administrator Tom Timlin had a meeting with the delegation yesterday. Told us that they are going to upgrade the signs for reflectivity. They're not going to put them overhead, and they're not going to change the exit number. So that's good news for Cape Cod. You know, it was my first time meeting him. He's fairly new to the job. Interesting, because he came from the city of Boston,
Wow.
so on the municipal side. I think that's a good thing. I think
Definitely.
that's a good thing for Cape Cod, because I think he recognizes the impact that these projects have on the if you will, the small business owner.
Sure.
As opposed to, you know, the kind of the MassDOT lifetime employee who maybe doesn't have that connection.
Right, thinking more of the highway and less of the, all of the things that feeds it.
Correct, and and he said it too, and I believe him. I believe the engineer from MassDOT was doing his job, and he's doing it the best of his ability. He was upgrading the engineering standards. That's what he's been trained to do. That's what he's been taught to do his entire career. He really didn't understand what the impact that had on residents and then the business owners. And I think we need more of that at MassDOT.
Definitely.
More of the impact on people.
Absolutely. So results of that meeting again, are there going to be more? Are we looking at, are we closer to getting the upgrade in signs that we need as opposed to the big overhaul?
Correct. I'll give them a little bit of credit too. They certainly said they're going to slow it down. They are going to come to us either over the summer and the fall, public outreach on Cape Cod. These signs probably wouldn't be installed until next spring. And again, they're going to look very much just like the signs that we have now.
Great.
Again, upgraded for nighttime vision, but not changing the numbering and certainly not going overhead.
Fantastic. Let's talk about Route 28 in Cotuit. Again, another opportunity for public input, June 22nd. What's going on with Route 28 in Cotuit?
Sure. Our Route 28 in Cotuit, we have a project underway where the Cape Cod Commission goes out and takes a look at the roadway and talks to residents out there about what they want to see with their roadway. Again, very important, not to let MassDOT come in and tell you what they're going to do with the roadway. Let's get ahead of them, tell them what we want to see so we can influence them how they want to design it. And that's going to come up on June 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Cotuit Freedom Hall in Main Street. And again, this is our opportunity to relay what we want to see done. There will be engineering standards, and that's where the Cape Cod Commission staff steps in. There are some things MassDOT won't allow, there's some things they will allow. But we just want to be very honest and frank about what can be done out there and what we could do to influence and make it the way we want to see it.
Sure. And thinking about the kind of the intersection, I think the one that jumps out is the one, I believe, Route 130 and Route 28. That can be kind of a tricky intersection where Main Street comes out, Cotuit Center for the Arts. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of growth down there as well, and certainly can be kind of a bottleneck and dangerous for people too crossing the street as pedestrians.
Correct. I think there's Route 130 and Route 28. Certainly an intersection that needs upgraded. It's screaming from an engineering standpoint to be upgraded. It doesn't have any pedestrian accommodations right now. It doesn't have any bicycle accommodations. Coming down Route 130 in Mashpee, there is a multi-use bike path there on the side of the road, and we should be making that connection. So I think we're probably talking about an upgraded traffic signal there, what could be done there. We will look at a roundabout option. I don't know. We haven't even taken a look at it yet, honestly. I don't know how feasible it would be, but I would think at the minimum, traffic signal upgrade. We need to look at Main Street and Route 28. I know it's a terrible place to be able to pull out of there. What could be done at that location to help that left turn really come out of there? And maybe that sometimes you can even change the signal timing at an intersection downstream, so it stops traffic and give people a little bit of a gap to be able to get out. Without putting a new traffic signal in. They are fairly close together, so again, something we really do have to look at. And then at Route 28 and Cotuit Newtown Road, a notoriously hazardous intersection, has a terrible skew, we call it, where it's not lined up the way we want to see it.
One goes this way,
exactly
one goes
right.
that
There's a real
way.
angle cut to it. So again, we'll probably be looking at either potential signalization. There could be a roundabout candidate there.
Interesting.
Yeah, with those skewed intersections, it's very difficult. So you may want to be really looking at a major redesign of the intersection. And that's realigning those side streets to come in. So a roundabout might actually work better.
Great.
But again, we have to make sure that works for pedestrians and bicyclists. I mean, and make sure it works for the residents there too.
Of course, and you know, I know so many people, whether they are drivers, you know, tons of motorists, bicyclists as well, pedestrians, certainly utilize all of those areas along Route 28. So again, if those folks are watching, you do have a chance to comment on that and learn a little bit about the plans. June 22nd in Cotuit from 6 to 8 at Liberty Hall, correct?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, Glenn, thank you so much for stopping by and joining us here on Barnstable This Morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate it also.
No worries. Glenn Cannon, of course, is the Technical Services Director for the Cape Cod Commission. You can find out details on the TIP and all of those projects online. Just go to capecodcommission.org. We'll be back with more Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin.